So I'm going to do a little video here of finding the points in two-point perspective in a room interior. I know that a lot of people are struggling with this project, and you can always go back in and do it again if you find that this video helps you to figure out what you might have done wrong, if you did something wrong. Anyway, so what would I do here to find these points? Well, this is a kitchen. And I first need to zoom out because my points may be far off on my page. So I'm going to zoom out of this, and I'm just using my hotkeys to do this. And then I'm going to take a screenshot of this with restraint. And this is going to give me some room to find my points. Quite a bit of room. Maybe I don't need quite that much room. Maybe I'll do one a little smaller. Okay, so then I'm going to open up my screenshot here. And by default, because I'm on a Mac, it's opening in Preview, and I'm using Preview to find my points, so that's useful. I'm using the annotation tools. But you could just print out your image and draw on top of it. I do find using the computer is really helpful because if you make mistakes, you can just move something around or delete the point, and you don't have to erase anything. So what I'm doing here is I'm starting by just drawing on top of this image, finding any line that I can use that's straight, and I'm just gonna, I don't know why the image is jiggling here a little bit. It's weird. I'm just gonna use the straight lines here and try to figure out where they go. And you can see these bottom lines seem to be going different places than the top lines, right? And so I'm just gonna bring these out. And you might be like, oh, which side does this even go on? I don't know if this goes to the right side or the left side. And I'm just going to bring them out pretty long, and then we'll take a look at them and we'll see what's going on. And so far I've made a couple here. I'm going to make another one. And I'm just copying and pasting these lines to make these lines. You can, I'm using hotkeys, but you can just, every time you need a new line, you can go to Tool, Annotate Line if you want. So I'm kind of figuring out by this, I can kind of see that on the left-hand side, they would merge together eventually, these lines. You could see on the right-hand side, these lines would not merge together. So I know that there's a point out here somewhere. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more and try to keep these lines consistent in terms of still being lined up with the edge that they're on. But you can see that one just moved. And then try to bring them out a little further. Now, of course, you're not going to be drawing from this exact kitchen image that I have here. You're going to be finding your own kitchen or bedroom or whatever it is that is your two-point interior that you're going to draw from. So your points will be different than mine. But this is basically how you would find the left point there. And then you can use this point then to find more points like on the stove. You can see that that's in perspective, and same with this point on the stove, and like a bunch of other things in this kitchen, like even this line here, I could use, it's in perspective, so even that line could have you should draw to an orthogonal to the vanishing point here. So that's true for all these lines that you see here. Now for the right-hand side, which I'll do in another color just to make things clear, first I'll go to Tool, Annotate Line, and make another line. And then I'm going to make this one blue. And so for this one, I'm going to start following the lines here. I see one there. I see another edge here. What's tricky about this particular kitchen is that there's a turn here. So I'm not even going to look at that turn because that turn is going in a different perspective. So I'm just going to try to draw from those lines and then look and see if I see anything else that I could use to help me find this right point. Ah, I see a line right here on the floor. So I'm going to use that line, and it shows me something totally different. This is why it's really important to choose as many lines as you can to help you figure this out. Now, if you have a view where you only see one or two lines, that's going to be in your image. You're going to have a really hard time figuring out where the vanishing point is. So you actually need to see edges of things. Okay, so I'm just kind of like figuring out now that I made that point too far away, and that if I was going to take these lines up, about where would they meet, I want to make sure when I adjust these that I don't change anything in terms of it laying against the particular edges here. It has to be the same. So it has to still line up. And now I found that second point here on the right-hand side, and I can use that for other things. You can see I can use that for the drawers here. All these drawers, I could use that line to help me. And the details within the drawers here. So that's how you'd find the 2 points. Then to find your horizon line, I'm going to make another line, and this one I'm going to make yellow. And I like to keep it kind of straight, you know, at first, like I hold shift. And you can see that if my horizon was completely straight, then it should go through the points, and it almost does. So I'd say maybe it's a little tilted. So that's now the horizon line. And the last thing I'm going to do is just draw a circle or an oval over where the vanishing points are, just to clarify where they are for you. And you can see they're here and here. And that's it. That's how I would find the lines in this drawing, this photograph, and then I would use them in my drawing. Now transferring them to the drawing is a different process, but what you want to do is you want to start by putting in your vanishing points and horizon line. And right now I can see that my horizon line is basically in the middle of this page. So that's a good indicator. So for me, I could start by drawing the rectangle of my drawing on my page. And if your photograph is in 3:4 ratio, which most phones take pictures in 3:4, then you could do your drawing in 6:8 or 9:12, in terms of 6 by 8 inches or 9 by 12 inches. And you could just draw a rectangle that size, and then you'll have plenty of room to draw your other stuff. Now, a 6 by 8 rectangle is kind of small, so you might want to do a 9 by 12. That would probably be a nice size. But if you think your points are really far off, if you do this and your points are super far off, then you might want to go smaller, particularly if you're on 14 by 17 paper. So you can see here, then after I would draw my rectangle in that size, I would then place my horizon line about where I think it is relative to the page here, or to the image, and then on my drawing. And then I would try to place my vanishing points. I would say that, one is I would approximate at first, how far they are away. And then I would start drawing these angles in and using my ruler to test the angles. And that will help clarify if I've gotten my vanishing points right. You can also just if you print this out and take a step back when you look at your drawing, you can then test your angles against this image and kind of see even where it's off, So anyway, that's how I would do this part. And I want to show you one more. This is a bedroom, just to give you an idea of how this one would be done. I'm going to zoom out this bedroom. Zoom in a little more. Take a screenshot of the bedroom. And that's the kitchen, sorry. Here's the bedroom. All right, and now I will start drawing on top of this. I'm going to start with red lines and just start looking for any edges. Here's an edge, straight line that I can use. Copy paste, look for more edges. Now these are not totally, you can see there's a lump here. That's fine, I kind of still know that that's a straight line across there, so I can use that. Really great thing to use, the ceiling and the floor. If you can see the ceiling and the floor, it's going to help you so much to do this. So for example, I'll do the other side and use that ceiling and draw a line out. So I highly advise that you try to find an image that shows you the ceiling and the floor. if you want to make this easier on yourself. So I'm just trying to line this up with the side of the bed. And I can even figure out kind of where the top of the bed might be there. And maybe the side of this dresser here. And the other side of the dresser, by the way, is on the other side. And you might be wondering, what about the door? Where's the door going? Well, the door, and I've got to bring this in because I found that point. The door goes to this side over here, the opposite side. All right, so here I've quickly just mapped out some of this. I haven't done the dresser back here. I could do that dresser. It should go to the vanishing point on the left here on this side. You can't really see that angle, so that doesn't really matter. But all the drawers here are in perspective. And as for the other side, it should line up with the vanishing point on the right. So here I quickly found this vanishing point and the other one. So, okay, so now I would make my horizon line. Here it is, bring it up to about there. Hold shift, drawing across, you can see it's about level, pretty good. And I can circle my two vanishing points for you. Right there. And I'm having a hard time grabbing this circle. There we go. And there's another one right here. So those are your two vanishing points to the side. You can see how everything lines up to them. All right, thank you very much. Hope this helps.